guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you are a returning viewer and you're back for more abuse. Hi, thanks for coming back by. So today's video is going to be a foundation collection video, maybe a little bit of a declutter. As you can tell, I've got quite a bit going on here and I really need to slim this down a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you and say that we're going to get rid of a whole lot because I like collecting makeup products and I like to have a lot to choose from. So if you've ever seen any of my prior videos where I talk about mixing foundations, now you know why. Now you know why I like to mix 6, 7, 8 foundations. I'm trying to get through some of these. So some of you might be a little frustrated that I haven't tried some of these, and I will point that out as I'm talking about the products. And I really would like to get some use out of what's sitting here. So we're just going to go ahead and hop into this video because I've tried this intro probably 7 times and I'm getting real tired of trying. Before we go any further, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you leave today. Hit the notification bell, that way you're notified of future uploads. And don't forget to like this video if you like it. We're going to go ahead and get started with this bad boy. This is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Foundation. It is a matte foundation. I bought this probably like 2 years ago, and I bought it when I was first really starting my makeup journey. So I didn't know a whole lot about what I needed in a foundation. I just knew it was matte. I know I'm oily. Thought this would be a match made in heaven. I will say this is kind of like wearing a mask. So I've had it for a while. I'm sure it's probably expired. This one's in the shade Fair Beige, so I think I'm going to go ahead and give this one the boot. I don't need to hang on to it. I'm not going to be using it again. I don't think I would. So declutter number 1. I'm going to do better this time too because I forgot to put my eyeshadow like declutters in my last video, and I had some people call me out on it and was like, how many did you keep? How many did you declutter? I was like, oh, you know what? I didn't put that in there. So we're going to do that in this video. I'm going to be putting my declutters on this side. That way you guys know which ones I'm getting rid of. And we will count them up at the end. All right, the next foundation we're going to talk about is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Foundation Stick. This one is really good if you just want to throw something on really quickly, run out the door. You don't want to fuss too much with it. I would say that it is more of like a natural finish. I've used quite a bit of it, you know, in relation to how many foundations I have. It's a small feat when I can use that much. And I do really like it. I do have to set this with a decent setting powder because I do have oily skin, so most foundation sticks do not work that well on my skin. Do really like it. This one's definitely not going anywhere. All right, the next foundation that I have is the CoverFX Power Play Foundation. This is one that I bought quite a while ago. It's actually almost empty. Again, a small feat when you have as much foundation as I do, so that must be saying something. I would say there's probably like this much left in the bottle, and this is a good mixing foundation. This is not one that I ever really used on its own a whole lot. I just really love mixing it. It's more of a matte foundation, but it's not so drying where it's going to feel like a mask on your skin. And it is medium to buildable full coverage, so I do like it. Definitely keeping it because it's almost gone. You're also going to notice a theme amongst these is that none of them are the same shade. I buy a lot of these online, so again, I mix a lot of them so I get the shade that I'm looking for. Next up in here is the Westman Atelier Foundation. This is something that I just bought a couple months ago. I don't know, I got on this kick of like luxury foundations, and I think I've used this once so far, which is very sad. So this is a very beautiful formula. I'm actually surprised how much I like it. I don't know why I'm surprised. I mean, I should like it for as much money as it costs, but it just sits really beautiful on the skin. A lot of stick foundations on me, especially having like more mature skin, having a little bit of, you know, wrinkles and texture, a lot of stick foundations will settle in that stuff. They'll accentuate the pores and fine lines, but this one really doesn't do that. So I do like it, but I need to try it out a lot more before I can give it like my stamp of approval. Next up in here is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This guy was super popular for quite a while, and you know what? It's still a really good foundation. But it is a luminous foundation, so if you have oily skin, you might want to steer clear of this. It is going to get dewy on you real quick, so this is actually something that I mix in with more mattifying foundations, and I really love it for that purpose. So it's almost gone. I've got about that much left of it, and I'm going to keep it till it's gone. It's pretty pricey. Okay, next up in here we have the Clinique Even Better Makeup. I don't remember why or when I grabbed this. I think I saw somebody using it in a tutorial, in a makeup video. And she was raving about this, and I don't even remember who it was. I don't even think it's somebody that I watch regularly, but you know what? Doesn't take much to sell me on something. So I picked it up, and I haven't used it a whole lot. It's something I need to experiment a little bit more with, but I do feel like the couple times I wore it, it's not terrible. I just need to wear it a lot more before I can give like an actual review. Keeping it. Next up is my Dermablend Flawless Creator Drops. This is super full coverage. It's very odd. The formula of this is very strange. I've only used it once so far, so I really need to experiment some more. Bought this not too long ago because I think I saw Manny MUA use it, and he was raving about it, and you know, like I said, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, so I like full coverage. I have a lot of skin imperfections, and this just looked like a dream in a bottle to me. So I do want to use it some more to get a full review on that. Not going to get rid of it. Okay, next up in here, I even kept the box for this guy. This is my Tom Ford Traceless Foundation Stick. You know who sold me on this? Alicia from Kinky Sweat, because she is an influencer. You know, why does it look like that? It looks sad. Look at that. It's got a chunk missing. What did I do to it? So I've used this a couple times, and I gotta say, why are you focusing over there, asshole? I haven't tried this enough to give like a full review on it. I've only tried it twice, and I felt like it sat on top of my skin really funny. So I am gonna try this some more. It's a stupid expensive foundation stick. I really don't know what I was thinking buying it, but again, not giving up on it. We're gonna make this bad boy work. All right, the next foundation I'm pulling out here is the Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Hydrating Wear. This I've had for quite a while. You can see the discoloration between the top and the bottom of the bottle. I had also grabbed a lighter shade of this foundation because this was like a gift with purchase from Ulta, so I didn't have to pay for this one at all. This one is much older, and it's definitely too dark for me, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter the obviously expired one and keep the other one. So now we've decluttered two, making like no progress. All right, next up in here is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Liquid Foundation. I grabbed this one because, again, I do have the foundation stick, and I like it. I have heard a lot of good things about this foundation, but not recently. This is an older foundation. This is pretty decent coverage, and you know, I really do like it, but I do mix this in with something. I haven't worn it all by itself yet, which sounds crazy, but I wanted to do like a review. Haven't gotten around to it yet, so I am going to keep this one. This one is actually fairly new to me, so it's not going anywhere. All right, the next foundation I'm going to pull out here is the Oma Beauty Say What Foundation. I actually did like a dedicated review video for this. It's been quite a while since I've picked this up. It is pretty matte, and it has really decent coverage, so I do like this. I like this more as a mixer because it has the tendency to fall into my fine lines, but it's definitely not a bad foundation. And I really like the coverage, so definitely keeping this one as well. All right, so next up is the Pretty Vulgar Cool AF Lava Water Foundation. I don't remember what like influenced me to purchase this one. I don't know if it's just because it was like, oh, that's Pretty Vulgar, and I haven't tried much from them, and I just grabbed it. And then I saw a review that Tarte did on this, and she was like raving about this, so I tried it. I think I even tried to do like a review video, and the video just went south really quickly, and I don't even think it was all because of this, so I do need to try this some more. I have had this quite a while, I just haven't given it enough thought. So definitely keeping this, going to play with it some more. It is very matte, pretty full coverage, a little bit drying, so if you're somebody that already has dry skin, I would probably steer clear from this one 100%. This is my Benefit Hello Happy Foundation. Again, not really sure what influenced me to purchase this. Got this quite a while ago. I have used this as a mixer. I've not used it on its own. It's a very thin consistency. It's also very light coverage in my opinion. And I do like something that's a little bit more full coverage because, again, I have a lot of skin imperfections. I feel like it's a pretty decent mixer, so I am going to hang on to this one. Let's roll it back over this way. This is the MAC Studio Fix Foundation. Got this right at the beginning of my makeup journey. I really wanted to try some like higher end foundations. I hadn't tried anything from MAC at that point. Grabbed this and you would be, well, probably not shocked because let's be real. Bought it, smelled it, and the smell of this foundation was enough to completely turn me off. It smells like paint, hardcore paint. Not even just that, but look at the tone. Look at the tone and look at my skin tone. It is just not the correct shade for me at all. I should have taken it back. I have a real problem with not taking things back. I don't know why I do that. So I am going to like try to use this up a little bit as a mixer. I've had it for a while. I don't know, guys. Like, part of me wants to part with it, and the other part of me is like, you can't. This is the first higher end foundation I bought. I can't get rid of that. Gotta keep it. Where are you going? Let's go back here. All right, next up is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. I grabbed this probably like 6 months ago. You know, it's been longer. Back around my birthday, so it's been like 8 months ago. And I haven't used it a whole lot. I do like it. I think that it's a decent foundation. I like the component, how it twists to lock. That's pretty cool. I don't know about self-refreshing. Like, I still have to tap out the lines and whatnot because everything settles there. My only gripe about this foundation is it's not very long wearing. It does transfer. So it's something I would much rather mix in with something as opposed to wearing it on its own. But I don't hate it. I really do like it. Definitely not getting rid of it. The infamous CYO. If you watch That Taylor, or, you know, now she's known as Taylor Wynn, she has raved about this foundation so much. I had to pick it up. It's super cheap. I think I paid maybe $6 for it, something like that. I don't know. I'm not exactly thrilled with it. It's okay. It's not anything that's revolutionary. This is a really good tone for me, so I like it because of that. But as far as like the coverage, I would say it's like buildable, not quite full coverage for me. It's just okay. I like it as a mixer though, so I'm going to keep it. All right, next up in here is the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie Foundation. If you're somebody that watches Raw Beauty Christy, she may have influenced you to buy this one as well. But I actually think I picked this one up before I even heard her talking about it. I haven't used this one a whole lot because of the tone. It's pretty dark for my skin tone, but I have used it as a mixer and I do like it for that purpose. It is pretty full coverage, so if I have like a more sheer foundation or something that's a little bit more glowy, I'll mix this in. It helps to, you know, mattify it just a little bit. It helps to kind of give me a little bit more coverage, so I do like it. I just need to mix it because the tone is way off. Now, because I liked that one, I did pick up this little sample. Did I grab this? I think I got this from an Ipsy. I think they gave me the option to pick one of my samples one month, and this is what I picked because I was able to grab a shade lighter than that big bottle I have. So this really gave me the opportunity to try that foundation on its own, and I do like it. It's just not like my absolute favorite formula. It doesn't wear as long as I would normally like, so definitely going to keep it though. I do like this shade better than the bigger bottle. Okay, next up in here is the Kevyn Aucoin The Etherealist Skin Illuminating Foundation. Again, this is a foundation that I bought like towards the beginning of my makeup journey. You can see how much I've used of this. I used this all the time when I first bought it, and it's illuminating. I'm an oily biatch, so I don't know what I was thinking buying that. I'm sure I was just hella oily all day long and thought I looked good. Like, I wasn't thinking twice about all the foundation dripping off my face, but I don't use it that much anymore just because it's really not suited for my skin type, but I do like to mix it in with other mattifying foundations, so this is a beautiful foundation if you're somebody that has dry skin. I would try this out because it's stunning. Not going to get rid of it. I think I am going to try to finish up as much as I can before I pitch it. If I forget to mention if something's like full coverage, if it's sheer, dewy, matte, I apologize. There's just a lot sitting here, so I'm trying to like name out the notable things about these foundations and make it a little quick. The Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. This is an extremely full coverage foundation. It's very thick, very heavy. It's just, you can feel this on your skin. You will definitely feel this on your skin, but if you have a lot of skin imperfections, maybe you have some discoloration, maybe you have a lot of like acne scarring and stuff like that, this would be perfect for you. This is more mattifying. So if you're looking for something that's dewy or you're looking for something that's not going to accentuate dry patches, I would probably stay away from this. But if you have oily skin, you have a lot of, you know, visible skin imperfections, like discoloration, I would say give this one a try. It is pretty good. It's just really heavy. So I don't wear this all the time. Maybe on certain days where I know I need my makeup to last a long time, I'll mix this in with something. So I really don't want to get rid of it because I do like it for that purpose. Okay, next up is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Foundation. This is one I bought maybe like a year ago. I do like it. I don't wear it that much on its own. I don't feel like it wears as long as I would like for it to, even though it's called Ultra Longwear Foundation. So I do like to mix it in with something that's a little bit more dewy, or even something a little bit more mattifying. It's a good mixing foundation. It is decent coverage. I would say probably like a medium coverage, or maybe even almost buildable to full coverage. So I don't dislike it. I don't hate it. I don't want to get rid of it. We're just kind of in, middle of the road with this one. This is the Revlon Candid Photo Ready Foundation. I think I only tried this once. Did I try this for a video? I feel like I did. I don't even know if I uploaded it. It's not that I dislike this one, but this one's a natural finish. I usually like something that's a little bit more mattifying because of my oily skin. So this is not terrible by any means. If you're somebody with dry skin, you might really like this one. I would say this is more of like a medium coverage foundation. I can use that one to mix in with more mattifying, so I don't want to get rid of it. This is the Juvia's Place Velvety Matte Foundation. This was never a favorite of mine. I just felt like it was really thick. It's heavy. It settled in all my lines and pores. It just did not look flattering on my skin at all. I'm not going to use it. There's no sense in me keeping it in my collection. We're going to go ahead and get rid of it. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. I bought this a while back because I wanted to have some drugstore options. I don't even think I used this. I really wanted to, and I had every intention on it, and I just haven't used it yet. I don't think it's the right tone for my skin. This one's really yellow toned, so that's going to be a little tough getting it to work. That happens all the time. I'll never learn. I'm going to continue purchasing online, and I'm going to continue to have to mix foundations because I'm hard-headed, I need to learn the hard way. So anyway, I do need to try this out. I definitely don't want to get rid of it yet, so we're going to let that one hang on. This is the Airbrush Flawless Foundation from Charlotte Tilbury. I really like this foundation. It is very full coverage. It is matte. You can see how much I've used. Or can you? Can you see? Yeah, kind of. So I'm already down to here on this foundation, and I bought it back in November around my birthday. So I've had this about 8 months. And the fact that I've used that much when I have this much to choose from shows you that I really like this foundation. So if you're somebody that has a lot of skin imperfections, you're looking for a mattifying foundation, full coverage, all that jazz, I would recommend this. I think it's really fantastic. Next up is the Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation, or the KVD Lock-It Foundation, I'm sorry. I bought this not too long ago, to be honest with you, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. I haven't really used it that much. I've used it as a mixer. This one's a little bit yellow toned for me, but I don't hate it. I feel like this is good to mix in with foundations that are more dewy, that are more natural, or satin even. It just kind of levels it out a little bit for me, so it makes my makeup last longer. So I don't hate it. Would I buy the full size? No, I don't need to do that, obviously. But it's, it's not awful. Definitely not going to get rid of it. The Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Foundation. I grabbed this up a couple months ago because Pat was having a sale on her website. I also grabbed the concealer and the powder. And I don't hate this foundation. I did do a review video or a first impressions video. I don't remember which, but if I can remember, I will link it above. It just settles into my lines. I have to keep tapping this baby out every time I put it on, which is really annoying, but, not unusual for somebody with deep set wrinkles in their forehead. So I don't hate it. It's just a little irritating that I have to keep tapping it out, especially given how much it costs. I do like mixing this one. This one's good to mix in with more mattifying foundations. It kind of helps level it out a little bit for me, so I don't hate it. It's just not my absolute favorite formula, and for how much this costs, it should be. Next up is the Dolce & Gabbana Perfect Reveal Lift Foundation. Why'd I buy this? Do you know? Because I don't know. I think I got it off of TJ Maxx, and I think in my mind I was like, oh, I'm going to do like a designer video on YouTube where I try designer brands, so that's why I grabbed it, because it was Dolce & Gabbana. Never tried it. Yeah, I think I bought this 8 months ago, and it's collecting dust, so go me. Should I declutter this? Never even tried it. I don't even feel like this is something that would be like complimentary to my skin. I feel like this is going to leave me really oily. This foundation is my holy grail. This is a foundation I cannot live without. I mix this in pretty much every morning before I go to work. I mix in at least like a dollop of this with whatever else I'm using. This is like my bonder. This is what helps keep my makeup on all day. If you are somebody with really oily skin and you're looking for a foundation to help make your makeup last a lot longer, the Estee Lauder Double Wear is your golden ticket. Seriously, I've been using this for a long time. I just can't go without it. This one was my original. This was my backup bottle, but this shade was a little bit too dark for me. That's why I grabbed this more neutral shade. And now this one's about, I would say I've only got like maybe that much left at the bottom of this bottle, and this one is almost halfway gone, so it's going to be a sad day when I have to purchase another one, because they're like $40 some a bottle, but it's such good foundation, and it really does help make my makeup last all day, so not going to get rid of those. This is the ColourPop No Filter Foundation Stick. I'm going to be honest, I was never really that thrilled with this one. I don't like the way it sits on my skin. It just feels makeup-y and doesn't look very good, so I am going to go ahead and get rid of this one. I don't really care for it. The Collab Meet Your Matte Foundation. I actually did a video on this not too long ago. I will try to remember to link it in the cards above. It's not like my favorite foundation, but I don't absolutely hate it. It's just not a formula that really stands out to me. Like when I'm getting ready in the morning, I don't think, oh, let me go grab my Collab foundation. So part of me is like, should I even bother keeping that? I'll hang on to it for now. Hopefully I can get more use out of it. But yeah, it's not a standout foundation for me. It is matte. I would say it's more of like a medium to a full coverage. It's just not my favorite formula. We're a little uneven here. We're not doing so good with the Declutter. All right, next up is the CoverFX Custom Cover Drops. I have had these for quite some time. When did I even get these? I feel like I got it from TJ Maxx a long time ago, which probably means this thing's like 5 years expired. Let me give it a smell. Hold on. Let's do the smell test real quick. Ew. Am I going to use that? I am never going to... Am I going to use it? See what I mean? Do you see what I do? I second guess myself. That feels kind of oily. No, I'm not going to use that. I don't even know why I still have it. Let's get rid of that. That smells gross. I don't even think I ever really used that. The Tarte Amazonian Clay BB Tinted Moisturizer. If you're a Tarte fan, you might know that once a year, I think, they do this deal where you could pick out like 6 or 7 products for like $63, I think it is, which is actually a really good deal. And 2 years in a row, I've done that because you can get quite a bit of products for that kind of money. And this past year, this is the complexion product that I picked out because I'd heard good things about it. Have I used it? Nope. So I don't even know what to think about it. But I do plan on using it in the future, so not going to get rid of it. Okay, next up is the Beauty Blender Bounce Liquid Whip Longwear Foundation. That is such a mouthful. It's so unnecessary. I have used a lot of this. If you can tell, it's a little bit more than halfway used. This is completely like a mixing foundation for me because the tone is way too dark. But I do like it. It is long wearing, it is full coverage, and it's a good foundation. So I don't love it enough to where I want to repurchase it, but I do think it's good, and I'm glad that I have it, and I will use it up. This is the ColourPop No Filter Foundation, their liquid foundation. This was never something that spoke to me. I don't think it's a very good foundation. I don't think I've heard anybody say this is like a favorite foundation of theirs. I just don't think it looks good on my skin. It doesn't have the best coverage. It looks really makeup-y, and yeah, this one's taking a hike. All right, let's bounce back this way because I feel like we're neglecting my little stand right here. Let's show it some love. Next up is the Juvia Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation. So this foundation is one that I grabbed, I think because I heard somebody talking about it, and they said how full coverage it was and how great it looked on their skin. So I picked it up, and I've never used it by itself. It's a little bit too yellowy for my skin tone, and I think that's why I haven't used it alone. But it is full coverage. It's very lightweight, and I do use it as a mixer, and I like it for that purpose. So this one's going to hang around. The Peter Thomas Roth Skin to Die For Mineral Matte CC Cream. I don't know why. Every time I find like a matte CC cream or matte BB cream, they're not freaking matte. They're like, I don't know, oily and heavy and just cakey looking and just not attractive. This is not one that I ever really got on very well with. I just don't think it sits very well on my skin. I don't care for it. So I am going to go ahead and get rid of this too. It is full coverage. It's just very heavy, very makeup-y feeling. Makes me sad. I thought this was going to be like True Love. It's not. It broke my heart just like everything else. The Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Foundation. I like this one as a mixer. Alone, it's very drying. It's very matte, which isn't always a bad thing, but I just don't feel like, it's just not my favorite formula. So it has decent coverage on it. I just would rather mix this one. So I am going to keep it. We just don't use this one alone. All right, next up in here, This one's like, ew, what's it doing? Separating all funny. I don't know what that's all about. This is a strange foundation. So this is the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Foundation. This is something that IT Cosmetics released. It was out for like a month and then they yanked it back and we haven't seen it since. So I don't know if there's like something wrong with it. Like, did they recall it? Is it toxic? Like, I don't know. Not really sure, but I did try it out a couple times and I kind of liked it. The only thing odd with this one is there was these little white, these little white balls in it. And they did like blend in after you blended them out. It's just really weird. I don't even know how to explain it. This one is a little bit of like a heavier coverage. I wouldn't exactly call it weightless like it says on the bottle, but it's not awful. I don't know. I've only used it a handful of times and I've had it for quite a while, so I would like to get at least a couple more wears out of it before I get rid of it. So we are going to keep it. It's just odd to me that they're not selling it anymore, and it was only on the market for a very short time. The Lauder Beauty Nude Illusion Liquid Foundation. This is actually a really beautiful foundation. I like this one because it is glowy without being dewy, if that makes any sense. I really like to mix this in with a more mattifying foundation, and it just gives me a little bit of extra like luminosity and life back to that matte foundation without being slick, without making it break down quicker. I don't know. I really do like this. Definitely not getting rid of it. I do like it on its own too. It just doesn't wear very long for me. I wouldn't say it's exactly a full coverage foundation. I'd say it's more of like a medium to full coverage, but it is beautiful. Okay, next up in here is the Makeup Revolution foundation stick. You know, the last time I tried this, I really didn't hate it. This is a really soft formula. You can see how much that I've used of it. Doesn't look like a whole lot, but you know, in hindsight, it's kind of a lot for me. I don't know. I really don't want to get rid of it because I don't hate it. It doesn't do the greatest on somebody with fine lines and wrinkles because it does settle in those spots, but it's not terrible. It's not like my least favorite foundation stick, so I am going to keep this one. The Hourglass Vanish foundation stick. You know, for as much as this one costs, I really thought that I would like it a lot more, and God have I tried. Like, look how much is missing here. It's quite a bit. I have really, really tried to love this foundation, and just because of how much it costs, I'm not going to get rid of it. I'll continue to use it, but it's just not my favorite. It's not exactly, you know, full enough coverage for me. It settles into my lines and wrinkles. It's just not my favorite. But again, it's pricey. I am going to keep it. I'm going to keep using it too. All right, let's switch it up a little bit. This is the Jane Iredale? I don't know how you say that. Beyond Matte Liquid Foundation. This was actually sent to me through Influencer. Influencer, if you've never heard of them, they are a company that teams up with different brands, and then they'll send consumers like samples to try, or even full, you know, size products to try in exchange for quote unquote honest reviews. I have my own opinions on that. I give honest reviews because, you know, I want to read honest reviews, but I don't know that everyone else has that philosophy. So I always kind of take those reviews with a grain of salt when I'm reading them, because I know people are really excited to get free shit. So they're like, oh, you know, free stuff. I'm going to give a nice review. I don't really play that game, but this was okay. It wasn't my absolute favorite foundation. It's also not like my least favorite foundation. It is very matte. I would say this is more of like a medium to full coverage. It just doesn't look the best on my skin. It's a little bit drying, but you know, I can make it work and I can mix this in with stuff to make it look even better. So I am going to keep this. The Ulta Beauty Youthful Glow Serum Drop Foundation. This was something I got as a gift with purchase quite a while ago. Oh, there's dust on it. Never used it. I watched that Taylor. I'm going to keep calling her that Taylor. I watched Taylor Wynn do a video with this foundation, and she absolutely hated this. Ew, it's making a big mess. And to be quite honest with you, a serum foundation's not really my jam because it's usually pretty oily or pretty slick for somebody like me with oily skin. So I'm not even going to bother with this one. I'm going to go ahead and give away. All right, next up in here is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Stick Foundation. I don't remember anything remarkable about this. I feel like this didn't wear very well on my skin. I'm not even going to fool with it anymore. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this. And that's pretty old anyway, so. All right, the next stick foundation is the BareMinerals Complexion Rescue. This is a really neat formula. If you haven't tried this yet, a lot of stick foundations feel, ew, it's got hair in it. Well, that's what happens when you have cats. Or a cat. That's pretty gross. Anyway, this is a really unique formula. So as soon as you put this on, it just feels wet. Like it doesn't feel heavy at all. It feels wet. It's not exactly the right skin tone for me, but I can put this on and then powder really good with like a lighter powder, and I really like the way it feels and looks. It's not full coverage. I would say it's more of like a light to medium coverage. But again, I don't hate it, and I like the fact that it doesn't feel super heavy, so I am going to keep that. This one's really good for just those lighter days where you want to throw something on, powder, and run out the door. I'm not doing so good, guys. I'm going to end up with like hardly anything decluttered. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to grab is the number 7 Airbrush Away Foundation. Now, you can already see the separation in this. This is pretty old. And I feel like the couple times I wore it, this was not exactly my favorite foundation. I just feel like it was very quick to break down on my skin. I don't know, but this reminds me of a serum foundation. It's not my favorite. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. There's no need for me to keep hanging on to that. All right, next up in here is the Dermablend Smooth Liquid Camo Medium Coverage Foundation. I feel like I've only used this once, and I really don't know what my full opinion was on it. Just because I've got a sea of foundations, and I move from one thing to the next. I change foundations like I change my underwear, so I don't really know how I feel about it. I'd rather use it some more before I decide to declutter this, so we're going to keep this just a little while longer. Next up is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. I've had this one quite a while. I picked this up pretty close to like the beginning of my YouTube journey because I used this in one of my like earliest videos, and I really do like this foundation. It's about down to here now. It is good. It's got this baby powder scent to it. I would say that it's pretty full coverage. It's mattifying. It doesn't look too drying or too heavy, so I do want to keep using this. I'm not going to get rid of that. Next up is the Power Fabric Long Wear High Coverage Foundation from Giorgio Armani. So I bought this one because I have the Luminous Silk Foundation, and I kept thinking, well, if I don't absolutely love that one, maybe I'll love this one because it's the Power Fabric and it's supposed to be mattifying. This one I think I tried once on its own, and I wasn't completely thrilled about, which I know you really can't get a full opinion on something that you've used once, because you can always change your moisturizer, you can change your primer, you can do no primer. I get it. But again, with how many foundations I have, I kind of filter through things really, really quickly. So I do like to mix this in with the foundations. It helps with mattifying. It's got really decent coverage to it, so I'm not going to get rid of it per se. I don't really have a full opinion on this on its own. All right, next up in here, the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This was actually, I think this one was the very first like higher end foundation I ever bought. I think MAC came after this. This one I was so excited to buy because it was Too Faced. It was the Born This Way foundation that everybody was talking about when this one was really, really hyped up. And I bought so much into the hype that I believed I liked it. So much so that I used over half the bottle. I've used this recently, and it is not for me. It did not sit well on my skin, and maybe because it's old. It's probably really old. But I did use this not too long after I finally tried like a lot more foundations, and I realized this was not the best at all. So I am going to declutter this because it's old as hell, and it's just not my favorite formula. I don't really know like what the attraction was when I first bought it, probably because I hadn't tried that many foundations. But now that I know there's so much better out there, this just isn't it. We got some over here. We got a little tiny mini pile going on over here. Not much. Still don't have enough room to get everything on here. Next up is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation. I don't know when I got this. I feel like I got this from TJ Maxx. Did I use it? Oh, that feels heavy. You know what? I really don't want to get rid of this because I do have the contour stick as well. And if I ever wanted to do like a full face with just the stick foundations, I could do that. See how I justify keeping all these foundations in my collection? But I am going to keep this because I haven't given this a full shot yet. Okay, so next up in here is the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. I grabbed this one because I heard Raw Beauty Christy talking about it. She absolutely loves this foundation. This one isn't the right skin tone for me. It is a little bit dark, but I also wasn't totally floored by it. And I know Christy has really dry skin. My skin, again, is very oily, so it's not my absolute favorite. I am going to go ahead and get rid of this one. I feel like it's pretty old as well. Okay, next up is the Laura Mercier Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation. Again, with these long titles. I haven't worn this one a whole lot to give like a full opinion. You're going to hear me say that over and over again throughout this video. So I do really want to keep it and play around with it some more. I do like mixing it. I have done that quite a bit with this one. This one's good for mixing. It's not full coverage. I would say it's more of a medium coverage, and it is definitely radiant. So we're going to keep that one. All right, next up in here is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. I don't remember really like loving this. I feel like this was heavy, definitely full coverage. I feel like it smells funny. Let me smell it. It's just got a very odd scent. This one matches my skin tone really well. It's been so long since I've used this one. I do want to keep it and try it like one last time before I declutter it, but this one's probably going to be going very soon. I just don't remember it being my favorite because I don't ever use it. And if it was a favorite, I would have used it a lot more by now. All right, next up in here is the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Full Coverage Protective Makeup. I did a first impressions of this like last year sometime, I believe. And this is more or less like almost like a tinted moisturizer. It says it's a full coverage protective makeup. They tried to equate this to the IT Cosmetics CC cream. Definitely not the same consistency. This feels more like a thin coverage moisturizer again, but I think this has just more coverage, that's all. I wouldn't say this is like the worst thing I've ever tried. It's just, I don't know. I like something that's going to be long wearing on my skin, and this is definitely not long wearing. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pass that along. My daughter could probably use that. The L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. This is another one that I tried out really early on in my YouTube channel history here. I do really like this one. It's just not long wearing at all. This one's going to break down a couple hours if you have oily skin. It's not going to last maybe more than like 3 hours, 4 hours for you. Unless you maybe powder very well, you prime really well, and even then it didn't last that long for me. So it's not that I don't like it, because I do. It looks beautiful when you first put it down. It's just not long wearing in the least bit. So I can mix this with something a little bit more mattifying to make it last longer. So I don't exactly want to get rid of it. It is a beautiful foundation. If you have dry skin, check this one out, especially if you're looking for an affordable drugstore option. I think you would like this one. Okay, next up is the Tarte Face Tape Foundation. I don't know, man. This one I can only use as a mixer, because if I do it on its own, it's just very matte, very drying, very heavy. I mean, imagine having Shape Tape all over your face. Imagine how heavy that might feel, or how full coverage, how thick it is. That's kind of what this reminds me of. I think that's why it's called Face Tape. So this is not my absolute favorite foundation to have, you know, on its own on my face, but blending it in with something that is a little bit more satin or sheer or, you know, whatever, something to kind of even it out. It isn't too awful, so I'm not getting rid of it. The Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. I don't really use this one that much. I've used it a couple times here on my channel, and it's okay. It's not like my favorite foundation, but it's also not the worst. I don't know. I really don't hate this, though. I don't think that I want to get rid of it. It is more of a satin finish, or more of like not a satin. I don't even want to say glowy, but it's definitely not matte. It has decent coverage to it. I don't feel like it overly falls into my lines and wrinkles, if I can remember correctly. So I do want to keep it. It's just not my absolute favorite formula. And I don't usually mix this one. This one I'd rather wear alone. Okay, next up in here is the Tarte Founcieler. I got this one soon after it launched. It was pretty popular there for like a week. It's just kind of sticky. If I had to describe this, it would be sticky. It's a little dark. The shade that I picked up is a little dark for me because, again, ordering it online. I'm a genius. And I don't know. I'm not overly thrilled about this, but I would like to get some more use out of it because I've barely used it. So we're going to hang on to it so I can use it some more. I know you're probably wondering, Michelle, how are you going to use all these foundations that you speak of? I haven't come up with a plan yet. We're going to figure it out. I think I want to do like a makeup wheel, like a roulette type thing. There's a girl on here on YouTube that I watch. Her channel name is Things by the Burke. She does a makeup wheel roulette type of video. I'm starting to get tired, so I'm starting to stutter. I really like watching those because it gives her the opportunity to wear stuff maybe she wouldn't have picked on her own. Stuff she hasn't tried in a while, different combinations. So I'm thinking about doing something like that. And if I do, that'll give me the opportunity to work through a lot of these foundations. So thank you for that idea. I love that. Next up in here is the NARS Radiant Longwear Foundation. To be quite honest with you, I am totally shocked that I love this as much as I do. I picked this up on a business trip back last year, and look how much is gone. It's like splashed up here, but it's really like all the way down here. I mixed this one in with more mattifying foundations, and this one is not exactly hydrating, it's just a little bit glowy. So it helps to balance out the really drying foundations, and I love it for that. And it is pretty long wearing, I would say. I don't have any issues with this breaking down my matte foundations. It just helps to give them a little bit more life. So definitely keeping this, and I will most likely repurchase this when it's gone. You guys still with me? Anybody fall asleep yet? Because I'm getting there. I'm starting to get sleepy. Okay, next up in here is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. I grabbed this because I did hear a lot of people talking about it, and I feel like I've only worn it alone like once. I need to give this a chance on its own and just see how I feel about it, because I don't really know. I can't remember how I feel about it. Could be because I'm getting sleepy, but I know this has pretty good coverage to it, but I feel like this one was drying if I remember properly, but I'm going to keep it to make sure. We're just going to, like the rest of them, we'll just keep it. Why not? Okay, next up in here is a foundation that I picked up because I must have fallen and cracked my head pretty hard. This is the La Mer, the Soft Fluid Longwear Foundation. I grabbed this one back when Neiman Marcus was having their 25% off sale. I thought that justified buying this foundation. So yeah, I am certifiable. I've worn this once, and I've had it for probably a month and a half. I know. Crazy. I don't hate it, but it's definitely the wrong tone for my skin. I mean, you can tell that this is way too dark. So I would like to try it mixed in with other things, but on its own, I had to wear this the very first time on its own. I mean, come on, it's the La Mer foundation. I don't know how this is going to be if I use it as a mixer, but we're going to find out. This one definitely is not going anywhere because I can't return it, so it's mine for life. He's going to be hanging on with me for life. I have a hard time parting with foundation, can you tell? Okay, next up here is the Zoeva Authentic Skin. Is that what it's called? Damn, I'm good. This is the Zoeva Authentic Skin Natural Luminous Foundation. This one reminds me a lot of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Foundation. Couldn't exactly tell you why. Anybody? Bueller? Looks literally the exact same thing. They both say they're a luminous foundation. The bottles are identical. Yeah, except for this says foundation all across the side. The ABH one does. I don't know. The Zoeva one I wasn't exactly like blown out of the water by. Then again, I'm not usually blown away by luminous foundations to begin with. But I'm going to really have to play with this one some more to get a full opinion on it. This one's probably going to get decluttered soon though, because it's just, from what I remember, it was not a favorite foundation. But it's been a while since I've used it, so I really don't want to declutter it quite yet. So since we were just talking about the Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation, I bought this one because it was really hyped up. A lot of people talk highly of this one. And it's not that I hate it, but again, it's luminous, so it doesn't wear long on my skin at all. I would like to keep using this as a mixer, however. This one I would say is like a medium coverage. And yeah, it definitely is luminous, so I'm going to keep it as a mixer. The CoverFX Natural Finish Oil-Free Foundation. I grabbed this at TJ Maxx like 2 years ago. This one is thick. It almost feels like a paste. And it just doesn't feel very good sitting on my skin. So it's full coverage, but I don't like the way it feels. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to toss that out. I don't think I've used it in probably a year. All right, this was another one of those, let's buy designer and see how we like that, shall we? This is the Burberry Cashmere Long-Lasting Flawless Soft Matte Foundation. Why? Why do we have so many words in the title of one little foundation? It's insanity. Never used it. Never used it. I think I got this from TJ Maxx. I bought it like a year and a half ago. Never used it. Should I keep this? Should I use it? See, these are the types of questions I ask myself at 12:30 at night. And I just don't know because I'm exhausted and I can't form complete sentences right now, let alone decide whether I want to keep a foundation. So let's keep it. Told you this wasn't going to be a very successful declutter, so don't be mad. This is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Foundation. I actually really like this to mix in with more full coverage, like heavy foundations, because it really helps to kind of sheer them out while not losing the coverage. That didn't make any sense. It helps to take away some of the thickness and the consistency without losing coverage. That's a better way of saying it. So I do like it. I haven't used it in a while. It's super thin, like water thin. So I am going to keep it. I do like it. And I can actually wear this one on its own. It just doesn't give me a whole lot of coverage. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation. This one is a little off. It's a little dark for my skin tone, as you can tell. It's kind of orangey. So I definitely have to mix this in with something else if I'm going to use it. I can't use it alone, but I don't hate it. It is a little thick. It's a little heavy. But if I mix it in with something like, say, the Water Foundation, then it really does kind of help level that out. So I don't want to get rid of this quite yet. We're going to hang on to that. Next up is the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear. This is another one of those like staple foundations, or at least it used to be. This was my holy grail before the Estee Lauder took over. It is full coverage. It is long wearing. I wouldn't say it is as full coverage and long wearing as the Estee Lauder Double Wear, but it is still pretty good, and it's just pricey. So I probably won't buy another one of these. I've gone through like 3 or 4 bottles of these since I started my makeup journey a few years ago, which is really saying something. But I think I'm just going to stick to my Estee Lauder. So when I run out of this one, I'm not going to repurchase, but I'm definitely not decluttering. If you're still with me, you deserve a cookie. The Hourglass Vanish Seamless Finish Liquid Foundation. I think I was more angry at this one than anything, and I was like, oh no, bitch, you're gonna work for me. That's what I told it. You're like, you're gonna do what I tell you to do, and it just didn't. It didn't listen. It settled into my lines. It looked a little bit makeup-y. But you know what? I've only used it several times alone, and that was my experience. But when I mix it with stuff, I have no problems. So I do like this as a mixer, just not by itself. The BareMinerals Complexion Rescue. This is like a gel cream, a hydrating gel cream is what it's called. This one's supposed to be something that you put on like as a hydrator. It's got a little bit of coverage to it, but I can only use this if I set it with like a full coverage powder foundation like the JCat Aquassurance. That's when I like to use this. This isn't something I use all the time, but when I do, I just have to go over top of it with something a little bit more full coverage because there's not much to it. I did get this one as like a free gift with purchase from Ulta at some point, so it's not like I'm out any money if I do get rid of it. I do like to keep stuff around that I can throw on that's like an easy out the door type of look, so I'll go ahead and keep this in case I need like a no makeup day where I just throw on a little bit of powder afterwards. But otherwise, I really don't use it that much. In the home stretch, the Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation. This one's not exactly my favorite. I don't know what it is about it. I can't really pinpoint it, but it's just not my favorite. Not my favorite foundation. It doesn't wear very long on my skin. It's more of a luminous. It says skin finish, so I guess more like a satin. But it's just not long wearing. If I'm going to wear foundation, I want it to last through a work shift. I want it to look decent a few hours in, and this just doesn't. So, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. There's no need for me to keep it. Ooh, we're on the last row. Can we fit more foundation up here? I usually like to put the smaller bottles up front, so I'll rearrange it at some point. Next up in here is the YSL Touche Eclat All-in-One Glow. I bought this because of, guess who? Can you guess? Kathleen Lights. She absolutely used to love this. Now, this was before I got really smart about what kind of makeup I was using, like as far as my skin concerns and all that stuff. So Kathleen has dry skin. Why did I think that I was going to love this with oily skin, textured skin? Not beautiful skin like Kathleen's skin? Don't know. I do like it as a mixer, but this is definitely not something I can wear on its own because, again, I have oily skin. So, I'm going to keep it though. I'm going to use it with more mattifying foundations because it does work really well, to use those to mix but on its own, nah. Can't do much with it. Woo! Throwing shit. Okay, next up in here is the Peach Perfect foundation from Too Faced. This is one that I really used to like when I first got it. I got this probably like almost 2 years ago, I would say. I've had this one quite a while. And I think that the formula has just really gone downhill just because it's older. It smells like peaches, which I actually used to like. Now it kind of makes me gag. I would say that it's a little heavy. It does fall into your lines and wrinkles, but it's just not the formula that I remember. It doesn't look that flattering on my skin anymore. And I don't like the smell because it makes me want to puke. So, gonna declutter that. I do, however, like the Peach Perfect powder. I like the way that smells. And tastes, for that matter. Next up is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation. This was something I received in an Ipsy, I think. I think it was an add-on in an Ipsy box. I don't even know if I've ever used this. Have I used this? It says it is a full coverage moisturizer? Yeah, full coverage moisturizer. There's not much moisturizing about that. Feels a little dry. You know what? I'm not going to hang on to that. Am I going to hang on to it? I hate decisions. No, let's get rid of that. I'm never going to wear it. Enough is enough. I'm putting my damn foot down. This is the Becca Skin Love Weightless Blur Foundation. I really like this for mixing. I like mixing this one in with really mattifying foundations because it brings back some life, some luminosity. It's not heavy. It's got some like skincare qualities to it. Can't wear it alone because it'll last all of 5 minutes on my face, but I do like it with more mattifying foundations. Gonna keep it. So next up is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. This one I have had for several years, 2 years. That's all that's left from there down. It's a very mattifying foundation. Some people hate it because it's a little too matte. It is full coverage, but I like this one as a mixer. I like mixing this in with my Estee Lauder Double Wear. That is like a killer combo, but it is really drying. So I usually mix in also something a little more like satin or a little more natural. And then I have like a winning combination. So I'm definitely going to finish using this up because it's almost gone and I'm real proud of that. So we're going to keep it. Next up is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation. I grabbed this one because it was a free birthday gift from Ulta last year. This one's pretty full coverage, actually. It says foundation plus concealer, so you can use it as either. I haven't really given this one a fair enough shot to say whether I really like it or not. It's definitely not my most favorite because I have used it before. It's not my favorite formula, but I don't think it's terrible. I think that it's a little heavy, but I'm definitely going to try to work with it, so we're going to keep it. So I also do have like a drawer that has little mini samples in it and like BB creams and stuff. No, we're not going into that today. We'll do that another day. The Elsie Micro Silk Foundation. I think I was supposed to declutter this a while ago and I forgot. I did do like a first impressions of this on my video. The video title was Self-Sabotage, I think. I don't remember liking this. I remember it feeling really heavy. I remember it just not looking good on my skin at all. So I'm going to get rid of that. Next up is the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Serum Foundation. Again, with oily skin, serum foundations do not last on me. They're rubbing off within a couple of hours. And I don't think this one was any different. I feel like this also did the same. Let me just feel the consistency real quick. Yeah, I just feel like this one, I don't like the consistency of this, and I don't remember like absolutely gagging over it when I used it, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Look, I'm finally accumulating a little tiny pile. It's a little disproportionate, but I'm glad. Last, but most certainly not least, is the Stay Naked Foundation from Urban Decay. I did a first impression of this one as well. If I have enough cards left by now, I will try to link it above. It's okay. It's not my absolute favorite. I would say this is more of like a medium coverage. Definitely not full coverage though. This is not full coverage on its own. I do like to mix this one. This one, again, the wrong skin tone. I know, common theme, but it's not my least favorite. I am going to try to keep this and get some use out of it just like the rest of the mess I have sitting here. So that is all of my foundations. What do you guys think? Kind of like my eyeshadow palette collection. It's excessive, huh? I know. I have problems. I can admit it. First step to, fixing a problem is admitting that you have one. Now I'm going to count up what I have left and what I decluttered. I really didn't declutter that much, like in comparison to what I still have, but I did fit almost all of them on here. And since I am going to be running out of a few of them soon, I might be able to fit more on this rack. So I am super happy about that. I'm keeping 64. That's a lot. That is a lot. But I'm decluttering 20. So I'm decluttering a fourth of my collection, and I'm keeping the other 60 some. Not terrible. Come on, you gotta, bear with me here. I like my stuff. I like my stuffs. So that's gonna wrap up this foundation collection / declutter video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you stuck around, again, go you. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys did like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. It helps my channel out so very much, and I'm grateful when you guys take the time to do that. Also, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, that way you're notified of future uploads, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.